We take a look at the structure of the storm. Still a very well-maintained hurricane. Looks to me like the eye is getting a little better organized here on the infrared satellite picture.
Yeah, it certainly is. And believe it or not, the eye has grown in size quite a bit since yesterday. I was looking at the Hurricane Hunter data, latest in from them right now. Yesterday, when the storm was rapidly intensifying into a Category 5, the eye was only about 4 to 5 miles across. Right now, it's about 12 to 15 miles across. And that's due to the fact that the storm underwent an eye wall replacement cycle. So essentially, it got a new eye wall. The storm expanded in size, and the eye is much larger. The wind field is also much larger this morning as well.
It doesn't appear as though that Milton is in the same kind of pristine, perfect development area as it was yesterday, but still, it's certainly in plenty of warm water that goes through a large depth of the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, that it is. And there's certainly the possibility that the storm could re-intensify back to a Category 5. It's got plenty of juice to work with. It's going to be passing over what we call the loop current here in the next 12 or so hours. That's that area north of the Yucatan Peninsula there that you see those bright colors there. That is an area where the ocean heat content is very, very high, which is the depth of that warm water. So I would say it does have a shot to re-intensify, but it is running into a little more wind shear. Look at this graphic here. You can see how fast those clouds are moving on the north side of the system there. That's that wind shear that the storm is moving into. So while the sea surface temperatures are very, very warm, the storm is going to be moving into an area of a little more wind shear.
And that's why we are forecasting a loss of wind intensity. However, it is a very big storm that is moving perpendicular to the coast. And Alex, because of this track, it's not a track like we saw with the 1921 hurricane or a track with Ian that comes out of the Caribbean, then takes a sharp right turn. This is coming in from the due west, so it's going to have a lot of momentum in the form of a push of water on its southern side.
Yeah, and that's what I'm really, really concerned about. So even though we have a 3 at landfall, even though it's going to lose a little bit of wind intensity, we think, it's still going to have that power. It was a Category 5. It could still get there. It'll at least be a Category 4 close to landfall. And so it's going to be pushing that water. So even if it loses a little wind intensity upon landfall, it's still going to have that power of at least a Category 4 for that storm surge coming in. And it's just going to funnel it into all of those little bays in there, including Tampa Bay. And the water essentially gets stuck up in the bay and it can't get out. And so that's why we're expecting a dangerous, life-threatening storm surge across all of these little bays and inlets, including Tampa Bay as well.
Now we're closing in, we're bringing in our eye path. Remember yesterday, as far north as Cedar Key, as far south as Naples. While there is a little bit of a wiggle room north and south, the window is kind of closing here, Alex. We're still watching those two dips in the jet stream, a northern and a southern jet, but it seems like we're getting clarity on which one is going to be the dominant one.
Yeah, yesterday we were looking at it and we thought that, there was a chance that this first trough could have been stronger, kept the storm a little bit further to the south. But unfortunately for the Tampa Bay area, we're concerned that it's more that second trough is going to be a little bit stronger. We've already seen the storm start to jog to the north a little bit. So I am very, very worried that this could end up being the worst case scenario for the Tampa Bay area. A matter of miles will make all the difference. If the storm makes landfall, let's say near St. Petersburg, that essentially is the worst case scenario for Tampa Bay. It's going to shove all the water in there. If it makes landfall a little further south Sarasota, for the Tampa Bay area, that'll be a little bit better. Still going to have a life-threatening storm surge, but that really extreme catastrophic storm surge would be a little bit further to the south. So a matter of miles will make all the difference.
And the difference with this storm surge, it's how persistent and long-lasting. You mentioned it before, but the storm surge actually begins well in advance of the storm because of the way in which it is coming in.
Yes, certainly. It's going to start to be shoved into those bays as early as tomorrow morning, probably. And then it's multiple high tide cycles as the storm approaches. And then even as the storm moves inland, you're still going to get wraparound wind from the north and western sides. And so all these bays and inlets, the back bays, are going to be dealing with extreme, extreme flooding. So we don't want people to let their guard down if they leave, if they live in a back bay area or anything like that. If you're told to evacuate by your local officials, please do so. This is going to be a catastrophic storm surge along the west coast of Florida.